Oh boy, alright guys, I said I would try to figure out and talk about free spawn more with this nation, but good lord did I get funky testing, so now I have to go through and just do it live again because frankly the results I got were absolutely ridiculous and completely non-intuitive. So I'm just going to show you guys Dominion 1, dangerous as always, but I'm not going to put any bless effects, I'm not going to put anything different. I'm going to do the standard that you would expect from an Ermor nation. I picked a water nation so their Dominion wouldn't creep up over us, and then we'll give them Dominion 1 as well. Give us 9 starting provinces just so we have a bunch of places to spread to. None of this matters, but we'll put it on Conquer All so there's no thrones randomly murdering us. I hope the results come out the same as my testing. I partially hope and I partially don't hope, because if they do come out the same as it did in my testing, it's going to subvert all the beliefs that everybody's always had about Ermor's Dominion, and might indicate a bug, but more likely just nobody's really tested it this rigorously. Let's take a glance. They've got some land provinces. That's no temples, so we should be fine. Small amount of Dominion. And now what I want to watch is how fast this Death 4 spreads, because I have a feeling the percentage of our Dominion has something to do with the death spreading faster. So let's put these guys on what their typical stuff is. This should prevent us from dying to being dom killed, but we shall see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up different castles in different provinces in each space. What we're going to test is our capital city. We're going to test an empty land province. I'll leave this one, or maybe this one is in our empty land province. Not sure. I want to kind of wait a couple turns to get our dominions spread enough to get like Dominion 1 everywhere, basically. And then we'll test an empty land province. We'll test an empty land with a temple, a Fort 15 with no temple, Fort 15 with a temple, Fort 30 with a temple, Fort 30 without a temple, Fort 45 with a temple, Fort 45 without a temple. That's kind of what I'm going to set up. So we'll see what we can do setting this all up, and then I'll hurry through that and just try to get everything done as quickly as possible, because our income is going to be 971 for a couple turns. So that might help us make a few. Hopefully these huge income provinces help us make a few castles by cheating and starting with a bunch of extra stuff. So that's going to be our empty province. That's going to be our... Alright, we'll go over here. We'll just start spreading around and slowly building. There we go. This is our king right here. Alright, here we go. We now have the best setup we can have for a 1/2 Dominion, because once we got our 5th temple built, it went to 2 maximum, but we still have a couple 1s around, but it's mostly 2. This is basically the lowest you would ever go, I think, like 2, so it's still a good test. So what we're going to do is oh lord, we're going to try to remove all of these troops, but there's no freaking way. Alright, let's see if we can cast a couple Dusk Elders in a row here. Get rid of everything we got. Okay, they're all on commanders. Let's try to do that everywhere. Alright, in Pavonia, we're going to remember we have 30 soulless to fix the number. Alright boys, here we are. I think I've got it all set up. We have everybody set up so that we specifically don't have any troops in the garrison anywhere. Let's double check. Now it's going to be difficult because when they spawn, it's going to be, but we have at least like 1 or 2 Dominion everywhere. There's even 3 here. God damn it. Well, whatever. We'll just go with 2. We'll treat this as a 2 Dominion test. And now what I'll have these guys do, oh, we don't have enough gems for it. What I'm planning on doing is just separating them out and counting what we have after 10 turns of play. So let's do 1. Let's actually set them all to, oh boy, the fun part. We're in a battle. We're under siege. Are you serious? What a perfect, like, okay, whatever. All right, we're going to start in a province with no temple and just 2 dominions. She's probably dead. Yeah, and 2 more turns. So let's count what we got. 35 soulless, 11 ghouls. Let's write this down. All right, 35 soulless, 11 ghouls. Let's go to the one where we built a temple. Let's compare. Oh boy. Well, let's clear some of these guys up here. All right, let's try to count the amount of soulless in this province. 133 plus more. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 144 soulless. And let's get rid of the soulless again. And now let's count the ghouls. 59 ghouls. Seems a lot better, right? So in the same time frame, we went from 35 soulless and 11 ghouls to 144 soulless and 59 ghouls. Let's check out our forted lands. Here's 50. No, that's 45. Is this 15? Yeah. 15 administration, no temple, versus 15 administration with a temple. So let's check it out. Start with the Triarius, and actually, let's start with the Knights, so we know the highest quality. Then go Triarius, and then we'll go with like the Velites and the Legionnaires and Principe. Let's do Velites. Legionnaires, the Principe, and then the rest are up here. So we've got, which one is Witherland? Is this the one with the temple? No, this is the one without the temple. Okay, so we've got 3 knights, See? This is proof, as I mentioned earlier, that people always say you need a temple to produce Knights of the Unholy Sepulchre. You do not. You just need a castle. So we've got 3 Knights, 6 Triarius, 6 Velites, 6 Legionnaires, and then 3 Principes. As well as, let's test these out, 9 Ghouls. I'm telling you guys, you're going to see what I was saying is true. 14 Soulless. Alright, now we're going to go compare that to the Forted Temple. Yep, look at that. Look at that difference. That's insane. Let's check the amount of Soulless first. 60 Soulless. Actually, alright, 3 Knights. So the Temple, as we just showed, made no difference in number of Knights produced. Okay, there's 3 Knights. Then let's check out Triarius. Got 15 Triarius. Try to find some Velites. No, that's a Legionnaire. Principe. Where are the Velites? There it is. Here we go. 19 Velites. Now let's get Legionnaires in here. 14 Legionnaires. And yes, guys, this is the behind-the-scenes boring stuff that always happens to make these videos. 10 Principes. Now let's jam all these goofuses together so we can get room for the Ghouls. 67 Ghouls. And finally, let's get rid of all the Ghouls now and get the Soulless. See how many we got there. 60 Soulless. So the big difference just looks like way more of everything. We got a better ratio of Ghouls, more Principes, more Legionnaires, more Velites, but are relatively similar. But the Knights are the same, the exact same. Doesn't matter if you have a temple or not. Keep that in mind. Don't be building temples just to get the Knights. Now let's go to admin 30. Is this our admin 30? Yep. This is the one without a temple. This is the one with a temple. So let's look at the one without a temple. Let's look for Knights. How many Knights? Okay. We got 2 Knights. 3 Triarius. So even worse than the 15 for... Let's try the Velites. 5. Let's check out Legionnaires. 9. Again, we have no temple, so we're going to have cripplingly low troops. Let's check out the Principes. Got 5. Telling you boys, it's all about that temple. Now let's mix all these together so we can test out the Ghouls and the Soulless. Here's the Ghouls, and here's the Soulless. 9 and 17. Now let's go check it out with a temple. See if it's... Oh boy, it's way worse. Oh lord. Alright, we're gonna try to turn this all into like organization here. Organizational skills. See if we can't get as many as we can on this guy so he's just full up so we don't have to worry. Yeah, there we go. We'll test on Tag, Klaatu, and Igrave. So let's get the Knights on Tag. We got 14 Knights. This time the temple seemed to make a 7 times difference. My goodness. Now let's try Triarius. This is what I was telling you guys too about how random it seems. 31 Triarius. I wonder why it's so much more. Maybe that's just the level of the castle. Yeah, I think it is. I think that's level of castle. Now let's look for a Velite. There it is. I'm going to put that down here just in case. Wow, that looks like it's way more than 100. Nope. 49. Good. 49 Velites. Legionnaire. 26. Principe. 23. And now let's go Ghouls. There's 35 of them. And we have 40 Soulless. Wow, that's a big difference. Definitely improved the percentage of troops that became Ghouls and Principes and Legionnaires and everything else. The Knights there, that's interesting. That stands out. In all my testing, that's usually not how it goes. Sometimes, actually, with the Temple, the Knights you have less than without. So I wonder if that's random chance. And it's the only 1 Dominion province. That's interesting. Alright, now let's go test out 45. And here's the 45 with the Temple. Let's test out 45. Oh lord, put all these together if we can. So we have at least space. Alright. Knights. See what I mean about pure luck? 1 knight. Now let's try Triarius. 5. This is what frustrated me. This is what I mentioned in the other video about frustrating me, because it was like no matter how I tested it, it seemed to get more and more random the more I tested it. 8 Legionnaires, 7 of those. The one thing that I'm being able to hold on to is the fact that Velites, wait. Didn't I already test Velites? No, I didn't. I'm dumb. 6 Velites. Alright. Now that we've done that, 1 Ghoul and 16 Soulless. Now let's go check out the, we know it's going to be loaded province. Wait, did we already test this one? Yeah, we did. Let's go test it. Oh, God. Okay, we have enough commanders to play with, though. This is good. This is good. Put this in. Can we put them in there? Yeah, okay. Cool, we'll leave you guys alone. Alright, let's go knights first, if we can find them. There we go. 25 knights. This is the key right here. 25 knights. Let's find the Triarius. 29 of them. Lord, this is a hell of an investment just for a few more knights in 10 turns. Legionnaires, no. Well, let's just write them down as we find them. Legionnaires, 22. Let's go try to find a Velite. There you are. 43 Velite. Alright, let's go find ourselves the Principe. 24 Principe. A whole bunch of just regular long dead. That's interesting. Alright. 9 long dead. Those are the non-upgraded long dead. That's interesting. Let's check out the amount of ghouls and the amount of soulless. Oh, actually, it's 10 long dead. We have 25 ghouls, 49 soulless. All right, let's try to compare. Let's try to make conclusions, draw conclusions from this. So if we look at a 45 with a temple, we get 25 knights versus 45 with no temple, 1 knight. So it seems the level of temple certainly has something to do with knights, because let's compare with temple, 45 to 25, right? Down to 15 with temple, 3 knights. Then we go to 30 with temple, it's 14 knights versus 3. So it goes 3, 14, 25. So that's quite a bit of an increase. So I think the fort 100% has something to do with it. But on our earlier forts, the 15 admin forts, I think the reason it looked like there was no difference is because with 3 knights and 3 knights, that's such a small number that even if you have an error rate of like, 2 knights, that's a big difference, 3 to 5 kind of thing, right? So you'd have to test that over and over to make sure. That's kind of what frustrated me about testing this stuff, though, is it's so hard to control the variables. So now let's compare temple versus not temple. You can tell it's pure volume, right? It's just tons of volume. So if you guys want to make more troops, you build temples, 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 temples. Because if you look at the difference between an empty land without a temple, you get, say 46 troops versus a castle 15. You get what? 14 plus 12, 26, plus 12, 38, plus 9, 47. You get 1 more troop. The castle makes no difference at the low levels. It really doesn't. The castle makes no difference. Look at even a 45 admin castle, 16 soulless, 1 ghoul, that's 17, plus 7 principes, 24, plus 8 legionnaires, that's 32, 38, 43, 44. The forted, so pay attention to this. This forted admin 45 with no temple here had less troops produced than this unforted province. So between 45 admin, a triple castle, a full-blown castle, versus nothing, this one actually randomly won out. That's how little the difference it makes to build a castle in terms of volume. What the castle does, I think, is upgrade the troops. I think it gives them more armor. More weapons, that sort of thing. So it makes a higher quality. Now, what we're looking to determine now with the temples, what do temples do besides just increase volume? So we see that comparing 45 to 45, a temple increases volume dramatically, but does it increase volume proportionally? Let's see. Triarius to Velites to Legionnaires is 5, 6, 8, 7. So all roughly, it just seems like Triarius are a little rarer. Velites, Legionnaires, and Principes are kind of there, and barely any soulless and ghouls. But when you go down to the castle, you get way more Velites Way more. If you look at every single test we've done, every single castle caused the Velites to go up. Every single time. Every time you have Velites, or I mean a castle with a temple in it, you have boatloads of Velites. So when we add the temple, you're going to get way more Velites. And just to be clear, these are your Velites. These are the guys with 0 protection, but have the javelin, tower shield. There's a whole bunch of different types of Velites and everything. We went over that in the other thing, but you're going to get a whole heck of a lot of the Velites, because they're the lower quality upgraded troops, so to speak. Now the Principes and the Triarius, as you can see with their protection and the Legionnaires protection of 10 and the Principes protection of 12, they're going to be lower in amount. So you're basically getting them based on how good they are. You get 49 Velites to 26 Legionnaires to 23 Principes. Basically, the higher protection your troops get, the less of them you get, but the proportion goes up the higher your castle goes, right? So our level 15 castle with a temple got 14 Legionnaires, 10 Principes, and 19 Velites. So 19, 14, 10 versus our level 45, which got 43, 24, 22. So if you're looking at the 15, we got, actually, did we get a better percentage of the lower quality? We did. Yeah. So on the admin 15, you got a better percentage of the lower quality than you did, or the higher quality than you did on the 45. But with the temple, the 45 got us a boatload of knights. In 10 turns, if you're pumping out 25 knights in every castle that you're talking about, you want to talk about sacred rushes. If you take a Hell Bless and you're willing to sacrifice, but you somehow get some lucky events and you're able to pump out some castles, level those castles up, because it takes less turns to level them up than just to build them. So you can just crank out a whole bunch of knights as long as you build temples first. My recommendation is obviously going to be in the other video, but it's to build temples first and then cover them with castles, because frankly, if somebody comes in and takes your temple, it's a debilitating loss, but you need to have enough troops around to protect them, and you need to be alert and aware to protect them. And then once people start closing in, you need those castles already up, because if someone sees Ermor building a castle on top of a temple, they're going to jump that province immediately. Now let's go do it with Dominion 10. Here's our lady for Dom 10, exact same setup. Gonna go through, try to make it. It's the same pretender that we did for the other team in the water as well. So that's the best we can do. Start with 9 provinces. Oh Lord, I don't want to do the testing anymore with the castles. Let's just test the 45 with a temple and with, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna test 45 with a temple and 45 with no temple. That's all we're gonna do. So we'll have 9 provinces, but who cares? We'll just leave it the same otherwise, just so we don't mess up the test. I've done this so many times, I don't want to do it 100 more times. Interesting that we started with only 2 Dominion in our main province instead of the spread out Dominion that we had last time. I'm telling you the randomness. You guys are going to hate it when you're watching this. Let's set that. Let's get her wandering. Let's try to get him to become a prophet so we can spread more Dominion. And then we'll just spread temples everywhere so we hopefully crank out 10 Dominion. Can she build a temple? I don't think so, actually. Can you summon someone who can build a temple? Or, yeah, there. Temple builders. Let's go. No, she can't, but she can sure spread that Dominion. Let's go, lady. Get those palisades going. Get those palisades going. All right, we've got empty, Dom 10. Let's do the test. Temple in a fort with Dom 10 versus temple in a fort with Dom 1 or 2 or 3. Boom. Let's do the compare. Alright, let's go to the no temple first. Get our knights, 11 knights. Get our Triarius. Oh, horsemen. Okay. Get our Triarius. Get our Velites. Principes will go down here. Our Legionnaires will go here. We got a whole heck of a lot of these long dead. And then ghouls and soulless. Alright, so we're looking at 11 knights. We're looking at 8 horsemen, 20 Triarius. Let's try to put this in order of highest quality. What's the next highest quality? Principes 12, Legionnaires 10, so let's do Principe. 15 Principe. How many Legionnaires? We got 20, right? Yeah. 20 Legionnaires. Then we've got 32 Velites. And then we've got 29 Long Dead, 2 Ghouls, and 13 Soulless. Okay, let's go check out this. Oh boy. This is going to be fun to separate. Knights, other horses. Try to put them in order so I don't forget my infinite wisdom. Okay, Velite, you can go down here. My goodness. Awful lot of Long Dead being pumped out here. Aren't there? Ghouls. And then the Soulless we'll put way down here. Okay, so let's copy it over. 21 Knights. Way more Knights with a temple. 21 Horsemen. Way more horsemen with a temple, but that, again, that ratio is still within randomness. It's just volume because of the temple. So I don't think the temple raises the amount of knights. I think it just raises the total volume, which indirectly raises knights. Triarius, 36. We'll see though. 42 Principes, 34 Legionnaires. We got 79 Velites. There's those low quality but higher quality than normal. 82 Long Dead and 7 Ghouls. All right, so we've got 11 Knights versus 21 in the Templed Province, 8 Horsemen versus 21 in the Templed Province, 20 Triarius versus 36 in the Templed Province, 15 Principe versus 42 in the Templed Province, 20 Legionnaires versus 34 in the Templed Province, 32 Velites versus 79, 29 Long Dead versus 82, 2 Ghouls versus 7, and 13 Soulless versus 0. Now, the lack of Soulless could just be that there were no bodies, but, or I mean, oh no, I guess we got more Ghouls. This is tough to tell, but I think this pretty definitively shows that temples just increase numbers. But Dominion 10, let's compare this versus, let's compare with a temple versus when we had a Dominion of 1 or 2, right? Dominion 10 temple has 21 knights. Dominion 2 temple has 25. So Dominion 2 wins. Dominion 10 temple has 21 horsemen. Dominion 2 has 0 horsemen. So that's one thing you lose. But then Dominion 10 has 36 Triarius. Dominion 2 has 29 Triarius. That's pretty close. Dominion 10 has 42 Principe. Dominion 2 has 24 Principe. It's a bit lower, quite a bit lower, but not insanely lower than 34 Legionnaires versus 22 Legionnaires. Still within 10, over 10 turns, that's 1 per turn for 8 Dominion points, or 10 technically, 9 technically since you're paying for them in creation. Velites, it's 79 versus 43. So the low quality Velites with javelins, those are the ones that you get almost double. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's almost double. And then Long Dead 82 versus 10. So that's 8 times basically. Ghouls are 7 versus 25. So you get way more Ghouls with a lower Dominion score. That's interesting. That might just be because of the population. And 49 Soulless on the lower Dominion score, but no Soulless down here. So really, I don't know. You're trading a bunch of Soulless in for like horsemen and a little bit of upgraded troops, but over the course of 10 turns, that only equates to like 1 of each better troop per turn, which is really not that impressive. I thought it would be like 5 or 6 of the greater troops each turn, maybe even 3 or 4, but not just 1. That's pretty bad. That is pretty darn bad. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Make of that what you will, guys, but that's all the difference it seems to make going from Dominion 10 down to Dominion 1, which eventually boosts itself to 2. So I don't know, man. That doesn't seem bad. Now we're going to do our final test, which is money testing. I'm going to show you guys how frustrating this is. Test out. Don't want him getting dom killed. All right, here's our provinces, kind of spread out around us a little. Let's do the standard thing we would do. Research and then research, right? This is the normal thing we would do. We would turn this guy into a prophet, research, and then maybe fight and all that. So let's just go to turn, I guess, 12 to see what's at the end of the year. How much money we got? All right, let's write it down. Dom 10, 44 10. Let's get out of here, run the same test. Because remember, you're never going to be able to fully remove the randomness of randomly generated maps unless you have specific maps designed for it, and I don't. But the random provinces you get to test this will be random anyway. So I'm just trying to show you guys just how random it truly is, so we can draw conclusions from that and then decide what's the best thing to do with our pretender choice, because there's no reason to pay for a lower Dominion or a higher Dominion if it makes no difference one way or the other. We've already seen that it makes some difference at the very, very top end with troop production, but not a lot. So we'll see if it's worth money or what the money difference is, etc. Do the same thing. Oh, look, it looks pretty much the same. Excellent. Research. Dom 1. We got 5586. Income of 269. I'm able to predict what's happening with the income 57 better than the Dominion setup, because these forests are low income. Look, plains, forests and mountains, waste and river, forests and mountains and river, plains and mountains and river. It seems to be just luck and luck of the map. If you guys want to keep doing this testing, you can at least see how I'm doing it. You guys have at least seen how I'm running these tests, so you know how to replicate them.